Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to today's webinar. Let's wait for a few more seconds till all the attendees walk in. I hope everyone of you is doing well and keeping themselves safe. Please do take care of yourselves. I think everyone has joined in. Let's start. Welcome everyone. My name is Jatin and I am the North America Marketing Manager for Kellton Tech. Thank you for joining us for our webinar today on improving business decisions with intelligent automation. Before we get started, I need to go over a little bit of housekeeping. Should you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the Q&A section of your control panel and we will address them at the end of the webinar. If we do not have the time to respond to your questions live, we will respond to them via email. As a reminder, the session is being recorded. We will be also sending a link to the recording and the slide deck in the next few days. But before we get started on today's topic, I will introduce you to today's speakers. So I'm honored to have me with today Murali, who is Senior Director at Emerging Technologies at Kellton Tech. Murali is a veteran in enterprise architecture, solution design, and integration strategy and development. He has demonstrated success in leading and mentoring cross-functional programs in multifaceted environments. Ram is VP in Emerging Technologies at Kellton Tech. He is an enterprise integration expert and technology evangelist based out of Chicago, Illinois. For over a decade, Ram has created newest technology solutions for industries, including retail, distribution, oil and gas, energy and utility, BFSI, and more. He's passionate about leveraging disruptive technologies and product innovations to develop solutions, tools, and techniques that deliver maximum ROI. Before we get started, I will have a brief introduction about Kellton Tech. Kellton Tech has been a pioneer of digital transformation for the past decade with the operations in North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific. Our clients range from startups to Fortune 500 companies with the core strength supported through our ISO 9001 certification and CMMI level 5 compliance. We are 1,500 plus employees strong and a publicly traded company. Our digital service, Kellton Tech is a new age global IT service company. We design, develop, and operate digital technologies that create new business models for our clients. Our digital services cross three major pillars: digital transformation. Our digital service portfolio includes digital commerce and marketing, enterprise mobility, digital governance, big data analytics, software R&D, and outsourced co-product development. Digital integration provides integration services in support of our digital systems by providing focused services on API strategy and management, IoT integration, enterprise integration, and OT/IT integration. Digital enterprise enable intelligent enterprises by leveraging end-to-end SAP solutions as an SAP Gold partner with a core expertise in ERP, PLM, CRMs, and SCM implementations. For the agenda today, we will be starting with introducing the concept automation. What is intelligent automation, RPA and beyond? How to achieve high levels of precision with intelligent automation? What are the core elements of modern automation? And at last, we will be touching upon best practices for implementing automation. Now I will hand over to Murali to begin our official webinar discussions on improving business decisions with intelligent automation. Over to you, Murali.
Thank you, Jatin. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm very excited to share some of our understanding on automation and its journey so far. I'll start off with a quick introduction on RPA and its continuum. So what is robotic process automation? Like from a definition standpoint, RPA automates repetitive human tasks by emulating the same human transaction steps, mainly via orchestrated UI interactions. It plays a significant role in transforming all tedious computer-related manual functions into highly operational, robotically automated tasks, while removing the burden of performing mechanical operations. It streamlines operational efficiency via software tools and bots, following a set of predefined rules in order to automate complex digital processes exactly the way humans might do. According to the insights stated in research by Automation Anywhere, RPA can automate processes 70% faster. It is a surefire way to drive business agility, add cognitive intelligence, experience digital transformation, and improve operational efficiency. Typically uses a combination of user interface interactions and APIs to integrate and perform data transcription work between different enterprise and productivity applications. An RPA tool emulates the human process tasks within a workflow. The runtime executable of an RPA script is commonly referred to as robot, or terminologically we call it as bot. The RPA tools consist of dashboard and orchestrator, which can be used to manage these bots. So enterprise RPA, the first step in the continuum, it acts like a person, which is rule-based and used for front office or back office operations by analyzing structured data. The bots can only process structured data. The data must be clean and presented in standardized and easily recognized formats such as spreadsheets, databases, or application programming interfaces. Bots have no ability to judge ambiguous situations. The conventional RPA bots can handle simple decisions that were given to them via strict rules about specific scenarios, but they struggle when the scenario is more complex. It is now possible today to add intelligence to RPA through cognitive automation. The cognitive automation enables traditional RPA to process and analyze unstructured and semi-structured data. Previously, a human had to interpret this unstructured data and input it into the systems manually. With cognitive automation and RPA, you can automate complete business processes end to end. In the third stage, RPA meets AI in cognitive computing. It enables a machine to infer, reason, and learn in a way that emulates the way humans do those things. Cognitive computing does this by absorbing data from both structured and unstructured sources and through experiences and interactions with both humans and other machines. When you combine RPA with cognitive computing, cognitive bots are created. Cognitive computing frees bots from the limits of structured, predefined data and tasks. Cognitive bots can reason and make more decisions quickly, learning to become key assets in human and digital workforce talent pool. Moving on, let's learn about different types of automation in modern RPA tools. Automation is categorized in three different layers: attended automation, unattended automation, and intelligent automation. The difference between attended and unattended automation is mostly where the bot is going to be installed and how it's going to interact with the users. The attended automation is mostly used for front office, call center, desktop-based application kind of use cases. This type of automation requires a human intervention to trigger the bot. With attended automation, a bot is deployed on the same computer where an agent is working on a specific business process. The bot helps the agent. It either reacts to the events that happened on the desktop, or it gets requests on the desktop and performs them together with the agent. So basically lowering the effort and mistakes that agents can perform on the desktops. I can put a call center example wherein a call lands at a BPO center when a representative communicates to the caller asking for some information like first name, last name, PIN number, driver's license. And based on that information, the bot is going to run multiple queries and retrieve data from different portals or applications and shares the information with the representative while they are engaged with the customer billing the reputation. The unattended automation is used when a process is repetitive and rule-based in nature and can be performed automatically without any human intervention. The typical use cases are back office and server-based automation scenarios. For example, a bot which is deployed in the server triggers on a specific schedule, collects data from different sources, and shares the information to stakeholders on a recurring basis via different channels. To be more specific, if we deploy an unattended bot on a server to fetch new leads from a Salesforce application at timed intervals, reports can be sent to respective stakeholders with no human intervention. Systems like Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics are designed to improve customer loyalty in the front office. Systems of record such as SAP or Workday are designed to improve business productivity in the back office. Finally, employee engagement solutions such as Office 365, G Suite offer workers the ability to handle their own workflows. The challenges are these systems are not connected out of the box, so employees must bridge the gap between these systems, losing valuable productive cycles and generating lower job satisfaction. While point-to-point solutions will help you with part of the process in the front office or back office, only an end-to-end automation solution will break the silos. The intelligent automation is a combination of RPA and artificial intelligence. It encompasses automating complex business tasks that involve structured and unstructured data and provides AI-driven process discovery and generates effective automation opportunities. I can quickly explain this in a simple example. A bot can be configured to fetch emails from an email server, and these emails may carry invoices in PDF formats from different vendors. Some vendors' invoice formats are structured in a right tabular format or something, but some can be handwritten. The bot extracts, reads these invoices, extracts the information using NLP on unstructured invoices, and processes them to the destination applications for the next steps. We will learn more on intelligent automation in the coming slides. We'll talk about 6 different processes which are suitable for RPA. Number 1 is rule-based process. Tasks that require too much human intervention may not be suitable for RPA because they may end up with too many expectations that need to be handled by humans. This would defeat the purpose of implementing RPA in the first place. Even though AI is increasingly being combined with RPA to automate cognitive tasks, rule-based processes are the most straightforward to implement. Identifying the processes which are rule-based are the easy bit for RPA. The next one is high-volume transactions. Look out for repeatable tasks and with high volume. One main advantage of RPA bots is their availability to replicate the same actions repeatedly error-free. In general, the higher the return on investment, the more time saved. After all, producing an RPA solution has a fixed cost. It might not be worth if you or your team aren't spending much time on the job you're considering automating. Instead, consider other activities that are more time consuming and have higher amount of data. This could be more appropriate for RPA. RPA is ideal for automating computer activities that involve a lot of manual behavior by humans, if they are reliable and rule-based. Examples include searching a database or spreadsheet for specific details, copying and pasting data, creating records in an ERP system, and formatting reports. Automating such activities frees up a significant amount of time for employees. We can redirect these workers to higher value activities such as strategic planning, partnership building, and etc. RPA can thus provide not only time and cost savings, but also new sales and growth opportunities. The availability of structured data would make RPA implementation simpler and more reliable. RPA's ability to control user interfaces in the same way humans do is one of its most important features. One significant benefit is that RPA can easily link different systems that would otherwise be incompatible. Your team, for example, may need to check Salesforce on a regular basis in order to manually move customer data to the ERP system. That's an example for a suitable process for RPA. Now, the next step, you look for processes that are robust when searching for RPA use cases. This is because bots are programmed to obey rules that are specified at the time of development and are reliant on system user interfaces. These bots will stop working as they should if the processes are unstable and change frequently. The cost of updating the bots as a result of these changes would be higher. We need to validate if there is any current standard operating procedure in place. Are there any major changes in SOPs that have occurred in the last year or that are planned in the coming year? Are there any expected system update, improvements, or replacements for the processes applications in the coming year? If you expect rapid changes, the method you are considering might not be appropriate for RPA implementation until it settles down. The pandemic has accelerated the digital transformation. If there were any questions about the importance of digital transformation for a company's survival, the coronavirus has put them to the rest. Most communications with consumers and employees must take place remotely in a contactless environment. With rare exceptions, digital operations are the only way to remain in business through forced shutdowns and activity restrictions. It's time to go digital or go down. This digital mandate isn't new. It's only been made more visible. Prior to the pandemic, the economy was already undergoing a paradigm change towards digitization. The paradigm has shifted as a result of recent events, as shown by the significant change in the investment towards digital businesses. Deloitte has reported that 77% of the CEOs stated that the COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated their digital transformation plans. COVID-19 is hastening the adoption of emerging technology across entire supply chain. With the data and predictive analytics, cognitive automation, and AI, application and infrastructure systems, digital reality, digital supply networks, smart factories, and e-commerce all are seeing quicker and broader adoption. I can highlight 3 areas to start with where there is a lot of traction. Customer service offers a useful insight into how process automation can improve a team's flexibility, productivity, and job satisfaction due to their proximity to evolving customer needs. They will concentrate more on complex work by automating repetitive tasks. Automation programs are being accelerated by 71% of these service decision makers. Chatbots are another field of service automation that is gaining a lot of traction. When contacting a business, 83% of the customers expect to speak with someone right away. The dynamic places additional strain on already overworked teams. Surprisingly, we have seen a rapid increase in chatbot adoption at the same time. Chatbots may assign cases to the appropriate agent, collect basic customer data, and respond to simple questions. This relieves agent of the workload, allowing them to concentrate on work that is more nuanced, where they can add more value and have greater sense of intent. The HR onboarding automation is another such area. In just 5 minutes, you can decide on an applicant, send out an offer letter, provision software, build and track orders, and provide new hires with all they need to get started at work. Apart from these, I can quote a lot of other use cases like resume matching, help desk management, patient receivables management, fraudulent medical claim prediction, inventory management, price optimization, KYC identification, fraud detection, RFP opportunities classification, deal guidance, and many more. The list goes on. So humans and bots must coexist. The strengths and weaknesses of each can complement the other. Since humans make errors from time to time, the term human error was coined. Computers, on the other hand, do not make these errors if they are correctly programmed. Artificial intelligence makes decisions based on previously collected data and a selection of algorithms. As a result, errors are minimized and the possibility of achieving greater accuracy and precision is increased. And one of the most significant benefits of AI bots is risk taking. By building an AI robot that can do the risky stuff for us, we can solve many of humanity's risk weaknesses. It can be used effectively in any kind of natural or man-made catastrophe, whether it is going to Mars, diffusing a missile, exploring the deepest parts of the oceans, or digging coal or oil. So the availability of 24/7 model with bots, without breaks, an average person normally can work for 4 to 6 hours a day. Humans are designed in such a way that they can take time off to refresh themselves and prepare for a new day at work. And they also have, weekly off days to keep their work and personal lives apart. But unlike humans, we can use bots to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with no breaks. We would be doing a lot of routine work in our day-to-day life, such as sending thank you emails, uploading, downloading documents, updating Word and spreadsheets with daily business data, and so on. We can use artificial intelligence to productively automate these mundane tasks and even eliminate boring tasks from human schedules, allowing them to be more intuitive. The digital assistants, they are very much used by most of the innovative organizations today to communicate with consumers, reducing the need for human resources. Many websites often use these digital assistants to deliver things that users like. Some chatbots are built in such a way that it is difficult to tell if you're talking to a bot or a human. The decision making. We can make machines make decisions and carry out acts faster than humans by combining AI with other technologies. While a person will consider multiple variables, both emotionally and technically, when making a decision, an AI powered computer will focus on what it has been trained to do so and will produce results more quickly. The daily applications in our life, like Apple Siri, Microsoft Cortana, and the Google's OK Google, are commonplace in our everyday lives, whether it is for finding a spot, taking a selfie, making a phone call, or responding to an email. As every bright side has a darker version in it, automation also has some disadvantages. The higher cost, since the technology is evolving very quickly, the hardware, software cost must be updated on a regular basis to keep up with the new requirements. Machines necessitate maintenance, all of which would incur significant costs. Since they are extremely complex devices, the construction also necessitates exorbitant costs. Yeah, humans get a lot lazy when bots take up these bulk jobs, and the lack of out-of-the-box thinking of bots, that they should only perform the tasks for which they were designed or programmed. Anything else causes them to crash or produce meaningless or negative outputs, which can be a big distraction, or actually it can land us into trouble sometimes. The intelligence built into the bots has its own barriers, which can sometimes cause serious damage. A classic example in a stock market is if someone is running a bot and trying to execute a trade, it only looks for a predefined criteria and sometimes create bigger losses instead of generating profit. The integration of humans with AI components brings in the maximum value for any business organization. The faster decision-making capabilities and risk-taking ability of AI component allows human to automate use cases where they see a limitation. With a human controlling the automation components and sharing the authority with AI, this helps in creating robust IT systems. The future of AI will be that many manual surgical procedures done in a hospital by humans will be replaced with machines enabled by AI, which can perform a simple surgery with more precision. I am more eagerly waiting to learn about the Neuralink, which is developed by Elon Musk. They're talking about something on the similar lines, that a chip inserted into the brain, it enhances humans' ability to do things. But I think there is a thin line where how much humans are controlling the triggers of AI or how much they're giving away more control to it. That's a big question we have to face in future. This virtuous digital workforce value cycle enables any organization to capitalize on the benefits of automation, leveraging core RPA, AI, and analytics. In the area of process discovery, we are about to make generally available discovery bots which can determine which processes are the best candidates for automation, their projected ROI, and the automatic construction of those bots. In the area of capture, the key is data understanding, the ability to recognize unstructured and structured data and pulling it into the platform for use. This is the world of intelligent bots leading intelligent document processing solutions for the repeatable processes. In our core automation platform, we view it as attended or unattended automation. Like I mentioned before, that is where a human needs to be on top of the loop of the bot that is running. Security comes into play here, as well as governance must have for enterprise-grade automation strategies. And finally, the ability to tune and optimize over a period of time. RPA platform native bot insight capability enables the data-driven decision-making required to optimize bot performance at a scale. By creating a simplified, repeatable processes that covers the major aspects of bringing automation to life, your chances of scaling your efforts dramatically increase. It also increases your chances of seeing value in a shorter time frame. This cycle unlocks value again and again as customers scale their digital workforce. Whether you're looking for a simple ROI or speed, whatever your objective, it seems that automation addresses most of it, if not all. It really puts the transformation into digital path. In addition to ROI, RPA platform delivers several organizational benefits. First, they reduce cost by reducing human labor on mundane tasks, refocusing people's effort on high value initiatives. Second, they speed up things. Your process gets faster and throughput increases. Next, they eliminate potential security and compliance concerns by reducing fraud and error rates. Finally, all of this accrues to delivering better customer experiences. RPA platforms unlocks new potential and opportunities for delivering value to the customers. Though RPA is primarily responsible for scraping data, handling structured and unstructured data, and facilitating front office and back office operations, the convergence of AI adds NLP and machine learning capabilities to the automation, enhancing and enriching it and making it intelligent. Combination of RPA and ML is known as intelligent process automation or cognitive robotic process automation. The AI-powered function gathers and aggregates complex data from different sources such as text, NLP, and other sources, and then analyzes it to convert it to standard data. Via refining machine mechanisms and algorithms, this combination can also perform advanced tasks. AI is used to restructure and update systems in order to improve operations. It also reasons and remembers knowledge, and through data exploration, learns to recognize new insights. Interacts with humans using a mix of sophisticated algorithms, natural language processing, machine learning, and other AI techniques. Every event, transaction, interaction, and decision tree is recorded, ensuring that it is auditable and accountable. When you combine RPA and AI technologies, you will be able to take your business to new heights of success. It is simple to handle customer experiences and enhance customer relations by providing better services. You can also use RPA and AI together to manage dynamic development cycles and discover new ways to add intelligent automation to the workplace. The combination of AI and RPA has a lot of untapped potential for the future of the industry. It can perform complex and specialized business activities just like humans as an advanced solution. However, assuming that this combination will replace humans is not accurate because humans will continue to be the master of RPA plus AI combination by creating rules and managing operations. The combination of RPA and AI is aimed at introducing a digital transition to the businesses and adding more value over time. So I will touch upon some core elements of modern automation. The modern automation is backed by three pillars, which connects the automation layer to the rest of the IT landscape. The step one is enterprise integration. The revolution of cloud computing has transformed the enterprise integration towards a hybrid integration model. It is an approach to enterprise computing in which organizations provide and manage IT resources in-house, but use cloud-based services to users. The transforming IT architectures have paved the way for hybrid cloud integration platforms, which enable the unified output to business users, irrespective of how the IT platforms are set up in any organization. With the emergence of cloud and SaaS applications, organizations can build new age applications in cloud and migrate some applications from on-premise to cloud-based solutions. The hybrid integration platforms are becoming more and more important in creating a robust and forward-looking capabilities model and enabling the automation. The HIP platforms permit on-premise applications to integrate with cloud-based applications seamlessly and securely. This permits your IT team to quickly track development, improve efficiency, and lower the risk factors in accomplishing digital integration paving the way for the enterprise automation. The next in line is API economy. We are in the middle of a technology transition. The digital convergence like mobile, SaaS, cloud, big data, the Internet of Things, and social forces are causing a huge disruption in the industry and altering customer preferences. In today's world, every user needs must be personalized, dynamic, always up and running, and should be mobile. When a single organization unlocks its proprietary systems, processes, data by publishing an API, it creates value and potentially a revenue stream for both itself and its business partners. Multiply this effect by many organizations, and it creates an ecosystem known as an API economy, whereby the value is created from APIs that not only operate independently, but also enable new and unique applications to be created from a mashup of several APIs. Instead of publishing an application that solves a specific use case in an API economy, a business can package the functionality as an API and make it available for entirely new use cases that could not have been anticipated by the publisher of the APIs. Take Lyft or Uber, for example. They were able to take public APIs such as Google Maps and payment gateways, combine them with their own unique processes, and then deliver them into mobile application that would end up transforming the whole transportation industry. While the API economy drives seamless connectivity, automation enriches it to the users. The emergence of cloud have paved the way for building applications in cloud and provide them as a service to customers who are not interested in setting up their private infrastructure for building their business models. This model has given rise to high automation use cases in different business verticals, integrating and automating various business processes. As software as a service adoption has grown exponentially over the last few years, many organizations have adopted and started using SaaS apps for different purposes, working with LOBs and external customers to provide data integration and connectivity capabilities. Mainly driven by business needs, any organization is necessitated to tightly integrate data in the SaaS app with on-premise backend systems and databases. The BPM and RPA. They aim to, or BPM's, BPA, I would say business process automation, aims to automate an enterprise process using technology. The main goal is to optimize process execution, saving time and cost. The injection of technology in workflow helps to fulfill work better, boosting the effectiveness of enterprises. While both RPA and BPM are distinct in their own ways, they also complement each other and can help implement company-wide digital transformation seamlessly. Today's solutions encompasses services that manage workflows and business rules for decision logic to provide end-to-end visibility. Architects can design and implement structured automated processes in the cloud, while Intelligent RPA helps run repetitive, rule-based and user interface focused tasks. An Intelligent BPM, which is also called IBPM, workflows can trigger RPA bots and vice versa. RPAs can be used as a middleware to gather data from core systems or external websites. Consider the following scenario for onboarding a new customer in a bank. An intelligent RPA bot handles a request from a prospect that comes from an email obtained from the bank's website or a visit to at a branch. The bot starts the workflow, customer's onboarding operation. The bank verifies that the lead and sends to an RPA bot that assists in data collection and execution of the mandatory KYC checks for new customer approval. Following approval, the workflow, which is the BPM layer behind the scenes, establishes the bank account and handles provisioning for the checkbook, credit card, network, and mobile app access before sending the new customer a confirmation email. Combining BPM and RPA has several advantages for the companies. The decisions in approval process, not all approval decisions can be made automatically. RPA and BPM can be used to automate certain decisions while routing others to stakeholders for approval. RPA technology eliminates the need for humans to make small decisions. BPM streamlines approvals while maintaining compliance, resulting in a more effective and well-defined approval process. The integrating legacy applications. When it comes to incorporating legacy applications, businesses often face challenges. There could be no API or an application that does not support web services, for example. Creating an integration is also prohibitively expensive and impractical. Organizations can incorporate an RPA-based integration more cost-effectively and efficiently by integrating BPM and RPA. So it eliminates some bottlenecks, like some business swivel chair events. Employees must manually insert data into various systems to complete the task. These scenarios cause bottlenecks, which sometimes result in costly mistakes by employees. RPA automates these time-consuming manual tasks, freeing up workers to concentrate more on critical activities. Processes are carried out in the same way every time with RPA and BPM, leaving an audit trail and allowing organizations to reduce the risk. When an RPA bot comes across a case that it wasn't designed for, it needs to be handled by human through case management or an exception rule. By clearly specifying how exceptions will be treated and tracked, BPM streamlines this procedure. This boosts productivity by ensuring that the processes keep moving forward. So I'll talk about automation CoE best practices. For anyone familiar with good practice when applying emerging technology to companies would recognize the need to embark on an RPA journey, designing proof of concepts, testing and choosing suppliers, setting up pilot projects, and so on. Businesses, on the other hand, being scaling their programs as a case study, businesses recognize that their goals for returns from their RPA investments could only be realized by directly involving work teams across business units and teams, bringing them into the center of the overall initiative and allowing them to participate with effect. The activities taken by businesses go beyond merely identifying and training citizen developers, end users that would play hands-on role in RPA bot development teams. Some organizations take the lead with hackathons, which are brief, energizing community gatherings in which diverse groups of people come together to rapidly test and prototype ideas for solutions they believe will help the community. Others take the lead with conventional, localized, and small-scale workshops to involve employees and solicit ideas for RPA-enabled job improvements. Some consumers, with the aid of suppliers or partners, create training courses to assist employees in getting started. All of the thought processes revolve around how to increase participation and involvement in all aspects of the RPA program, not just the bot creation. However, when these businesses started to broaden their commitment and involvement, they developed a people-first mentality, which is distinct from a process-first mindset, as they received varied and often unforeseen contributions. For RPA, people-first mentality entails posing the question, how can we make our people as efficient and successful as possible? In this slide, we have highlighted the value of extending a process-first RPA mindset with a people-first mindset and shared the journey involved and the key capabilities you need to build to make the journey. However, there is one more twist to this story. The mindset change from a process-first approach to a people-first approach is not a simple transformation from one approach to the other. While a people-first approach to RPA has some significant advantages over a pure process-first approach, such as greater use case coverage, greater program scaling, better overall value return, and more efficient management of business change, companies that can combine the two approaches to build a continuous feedback loop gain an additional level of benefit. The first three phases of the feedback loop outlines a conventional process-first approach. Step 4, the end-user interaction and ideation, begins as COEs begin to master top-down RPA projection. Teams and individuals have the ability to work together to find, formalize, and then solve their own pain points as people-first interactions and ideation kicks in. And those ideas are introduced in stage 5 and 6 in conjunction with the COE and other specialists. There is, however, a crucial stage. In stage 7, the process of end users defining, quantifying, prioritizing, and implementing automation use cases, however simple that process may be, may provide critical insights for business leaders, identifying broader, more transformational opportunities, reigniting process-first efforts once more. When organizations use a diverse range of teams and individuals to identify automation opportunities, they often discover cluster of opportunities that are either identical or share features for the scenarios. COEs can serve as a medium for connecting people first exercises and process first exercises, revealing transformational potential through common work and challenge trends that would not have been found the solely process first approach. I will pass on the mic to my colleague Ram Kanumuri to share his views on RPA COE.
Thanks, Murali. Thanks a lot for that. I think a lot of insights shared by you. I think, but when it comes to whether establishing that COE in what form it should be, I think a lot of aspects of actual realization phase of an automation, intelligent automation or RPA, actually comes back to the fundamentals of what was the original objective. When the rubber hits the road, we are answerable as outcomes to the business stakeholders. And most of the time, when we adopt a COE, especially a new COE, a new trending and emerging technology like RPA, we are in the firing range, right? So it is very important to understand how to establish such a COE, what does fit for our organization, and such. A fundamental objective, of course, is you have to understand we are not trying to put in an RPA technology or an AI technology into a vacuum. We are already talking about either existing IT systems and assets that articulate our business processes. Now, some of these processes are, I think Murali mentioned a lot of the front office processes. Many of them are truly targeting how to raise your customers' NPS score, right? Definitely that most of the objectives in the front office will be related towards that. How do we eventually increase our customer satisfaction in the aspects of how the customer interfaces with our business systems, and so on, whether it's a customer solutions team, and applications, or a chatbot. On the other end, yes, we are also talking about internal customers. From IT point of view, we need to ensure that our internal business stakeholders and employees are also satisfied in their day-to-day operations. And RPA, especially in back office automation or automation of workflow systems, BPM systems, will define what our next steps will be in how do we mature into a intelligent automation COE. So I think Murali talked about the process first and people first, how to evolve from there, from process first to people first. But especially if you are already a process rich organization, that means you already have rich BPM platforms or tooling that allows for certain systems and process orchestration. If you already have certain workflow systems that a lot of your business users leverage in the front office or the back office to do mundane tasks, you are technically a process-rich organization. For you, if you don't really have a data-rich or a data analytics COE established, if you don't have existing capabilities in what we call big data and data analytics, like AI and ML, then it makes sense to actually combine together, because your existing as-is state of a process-rich organization can add on very quickly those data and analytics that are relevant within the processes and not outside the processes. So that way, intelligent COE, automation COE, that combines the RPA COE and the intelligent CoE or the analytics CoE together into one singular CoE might be the right way for you to go about your future state. But where you are not a process-rich centric organization, maybe you are much more data-centric organization. You already have a lot of big data initiatives before. You already have an analytics team that churns out rich decisioning engines. Eventually, all these analytics, AI, ML, they don't mean nothing. They eventually make decisions for you, for your business. So if your organization is much more mature in the analytics and the decision side, it makes much more sense to keep your RPA CoE separated from the data and analytics CoE, because very likely RPA CoE will be a consumer of the decisions out of the analytics CoE, and your analytics CoE can evolve and mature on its own in its own tangent, catering to much more beyond an RPA CoE as well. So that is the thought process. There is no one golden rule. Depending on your as a state, depending on your centricity of your IT organization, you can pick one of the other. Next slide, Murali. Thank you. So in a typical development cycle, assuming we have picked up on one way of establishing the CoE, how does this CoE? I think Murali also touched upon some of the aspects of the life cycle in his best practices comments. This is nothing different from any other IT-based SDLC. As you can understand, RPA is primarily a digital automation. We are not putting a physical robot that can cook dinners. We are talking about IT and digital systems and the orchestration and automation of such systems with rules and richer rules, which translate into decision engines and ML. So typically, yes, it is very important to identify your use cases. Where are we attacking and which KPI are we attacking? Is it our internal employee process optimization so that they are much more productive? Or is it for our customers' experience to effectively increase that NPS score for our customers? So your use case, whether it's the front office or the back office, will be the first ones that you have to distinguish your life cycle as well. And each of these different scenarios of automation might evolve into a different life cycle altogether. But the design is where the next step, you will look into, what kind of a use case it is. Is it much more automation in what we call repetitive tasks, or does it need intelligence? Does it need decisioning? So those are key decisions in your design that you will undertake. But as part of that design of an RPA process, an RPA automation, another bigger what you call factor that you have to consider as well is which side of the component changes as well. Does the RPA orchestration and the bot itself would undergo continuous change, or will it be the AI ML that will undergo continuous change? That means the decisioning part of the bot that will undergo change. Those are elements that you have to understand in your individual use case to come out with a better design. What that means is, if there are multiple disparate systems that will enrich a certain experience, it is much more of a process changes. While if you're talking about data and intelligence processing of unstructured data, I think Murali mentioned about invoice processing. how do we process multiple types of invoices? We get a new different invoice every other week. So that is much more of a unstructured data analytics and ML and some form of AI. So it is an AI-rich changes or ML-rich changes. So that will define what kind of design you adopt as well in your RPA platforms. Again, the deploy and maintain and develop, those are our fundamental steps that we define how the life cycle will be. Sometimes the life cycle will change as you mature in your CoE. Initial stages of pilots and minimum scalability will define one form of life cycle, but mature established processes and their life cycle and their change cycle will define a different life cycle. Next slide, please. Okay. So these are some of the best practices. I know I did quickly mention about them as well. Definitely the sample size of your data and the amount of data that we will have to leverage. Sometimes it is that transactional data of that one transaction that we have to make a decision on, but also how do we reduce that noise of the data by comparing with historical data. So your ML and AI analytics will determine whether we need to work upon historical data to understand trends and leverage those trends for much more intelligent decisioning. So your data sample size that you require to make your RPA bot more and more intelligent is a big factor that we need to consider as well. Definitely data completeness. I think most of the organizations with already established a BPM or workflow environments have historical rich data available. And being able to understand the existing data and its completeness is crucial for the design of the bots as well. Data availability and time to invest. Of course, most of the RPA tooling and technology that is available are rapid time to market based platforms. Definitely, you might have heard of Automation Anywhere, UiPath, and Blue Prism. These are all purpose-built platforms. So establishing a use case and designing and deploying it at a POC level should take weeks, not months, to invest into those use cases and quickly realize on their ROI. But definitely from establishing the team and the team roles itself, yes, it is a process-rich organization. That means you will have a process owner who is concentrating on how to make the entire process and orchestration a people-rich, people-first process. There will be need for a data scientist who will give you those intelligence and ML decisioning for that will be required by these automation of processes. A solution architect typically will have a better understanding of these emerging technologies. Most of the technologies are already in the trough of your hype cycle on Gartner. They are actually maturing very quickly. So your solution architects is a key person that understands the technology that can take you to the right time to market and investment as well. Your process SME and RPA BA are the ones who will be tightly associated with the use case itself, understanding your internal employee needs or your external customer experience needs that will be translated into this automation. Next slide, please, Murali. This last slide, I just wanted to talk about various cloud deployment models that these platforms or the technology will be leveraged in, right? Now we're talking about a platform as a service for some of these platforms like Automation Anywhere, UiPath. But what does it mean, right? You have to have an environment or technology that is sitting in the cloud where you can actually develop these components, right? So the first step is to develop the components themselves. Say an RPA bot is developed and it is and it has its own intelligence as well within it. But where will the bot be deployed? Is it a front office bot that will run on a user's desktop, the customer service representative's desktop, or is it a back office bot that will run on a SAP server, for example? So those are the physical deployment of the bot itself. But eventually, a bot does not run in its own isolation. It translates the data and works with the rest of the systems on your IT and reports back various runtime metrics back into the cloud platform. So when you look at it, a typical RPA platform will have a control room kind of a component that is sitting in the cloud that will allow for you to manage and administer runtime of various bots. Of course, you will have a development component of the bot itself. Sometimes these development tooling for development of bots is cloud enabled and available in cloud. Sometimes these tooling are also can be deployed on premise and much more richer in functionality, especially the AI side of the tooling. The other component, of course, as I said, is the actual runtime bot itself. Most of the platforms allow you to run those bots in the cloud. They will allow you to run your bots right next to the user on his desktop, on multiple desktop all over the enterprise. And it will also allow you to run on your own data center servers of applications, or even other cloud systems and providers like nearer to Azure or nearer to AWS that you might have applications running. So most of these platforms will provide such a hybrid model in your licensing. You have to do that initial evaluation on what is the right model that you would subscribe from these providers, whether you would like a pure cloud or a cloud enabled model where most of your stuff is in the cloud and your runtime components will sit on the various edge endpoints, or you would need a on-premise, fully on-premise. Sometimes some organizations don't want to leverage cloud platform because these are data rich, IP rich and sensitive data that they don't want it to go out of their control and data centers. So then you're talking about an on-premise deployment of your entire components. We can definitely help in such scenarios to evaluate what would be a right model for you. Next slide, please, Murali. Oh, that's it. I think here is where our ecosystem is, especially in RPA and AI. It is vast and widespread. Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, and UiPath are the top three that are prominent in the space. Definitely Microsoft, Salesforce, and IBM, they all have coming out with their own RPA solutions that are more tied into their own platforms and the functionality that the enterprises leverage out of those platforms. Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, UiPath are a category of their own. They are neutral players in the market. They can automate any and anywhere and any other IT systems and ecosystems as well. With that being said, I guess, Jatin, we can open up for questions, or Murali, do you have any other final touch points that you want to address?
No, I think we're good. We can take questions.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, Murali and Ram. That was indeed a very insightful session. So, we have only a couple of minutes left, so we'll quickly take some questions. So we have a question which says that, can you share some ideas around how to maintain RP and automation rules as the business rules evolve? They found that tools like Alteryx are great because any analyst can modify rules versus always going to IT. So how is this, UiPath or tools like Automation Anywhere that to keep the rules updated? So Murali, Ram, if you can take this.
Yeah, I can take it. Most of these RPA tools also come with inbuilt rules engines, but with the intelligent automation and RPA automation, what we are talking about is actually going beyond those rules engines. Yes, you can have a static rules engine that you can leverage in an RPA bot that will, determine, based on structured data, what do we do with the data to perform the next task within that bot. But a lot of times you're right, Mr. Adim, these rules change and the rules need their own level of maintenance and management. How about we make those rules completely dynamic? That's what these RPA tools bring a lot more capabilities into those rules and decisioning aspects of the RPA. They allow the rules to be easily, changeable in runtime, in real time. They make those rules even closer to the business side of the, control rather than an IT control. And sometimes with the AI and MO, we can make the rules dynamic in a nature that they actually become intelligent or they become learning. With over a period of time, they can actually look at how they executed previous transactions and learn from those rules. Sometimes in the RPA, when RPA is involved in automation with alongside with the say workflow system, we can create what we call exceptions for certain processing. And as the transactions go into exceptions, those exception handling will feed into the enrichment of the rules themselves. So those are the facilities. Again, these are complex patterns within that BPM design and RPA design. That can evolve into a scenario where the rules are no longer maintained and managed by the IT. We can make those rules self-learning. That's at the highest level, or at a minimum, we can convert these rules into dynamic rules that can be managed by the business themselves. Does that answer your question? I hope it does.
Murali and Ram, thank you so much. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for questions right now. There are some questions that are unanswered, but definitely we will respond to them via email. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to email us by responding to the email address on your webinar invite, and we will respond to you promptly. As I mentioned earlier, we will be sending out to the recorded version of this webinar in the next few days. If you would like to start any new conversation, please email us at ask@keltontech.com or visit our website at www.keltontech.com. Thank you again for joining us today. Keep safe. Bye-bye. Thanks, Murali and Ram.
Thank you, everyone.